안녕하세요. 저는 로키입니다. Welcome to today's video. This is a little bit different to what I usually do over here. I'm joined by my lovely community down here. Chat, say hi if you'd like to. Today, I am going to be teaching you guys how to speak some Korean. Of course, when we're talking about speaking a language or doing anything, we have to start with the alphabet. And the alphabet in Korean is called Hangul. So Hangul was created, short history lesson, Hangul was created by King Sejong the Great. This was in the 15th century. I'm pretty sure it was the mid 1400s, around about that. Yeah, I think it was around about that time. Yes. Anyway, don't know the exact year, but it was created then, indeed, because as Steph said, Koreans used to use Chinese characters, or what are called actually. I have flashcards. Isn't this great? They were called Hanja. Now, please forgive my Hanja. I speak Japanese as well, but it's been a long time since I've written in Japanese. So, what you'll see a lot with Korean, I mean, even in modern day Korean as well too, is sometimes you'll see inclusions of these types of characters. Hanja, right? The first word here, that says Japan, that says Japanese person, that says Chinese person, that says Korean person on the bottom, right? So Nihon, Nihonjin, Jugokujin, Kankokujin, right? Korean still uses these. But ultimately, what you need to understand is that back in the day, all the way back in the 15th century, a lot of Koreans were illiterate, and Korea was in a very different situation than what it is today, as happens with history, and so is the majority of the rest of the world. So, in order to make language more accessible and not just something that the elites used to be able to control the masses and things like that, King Sejong devised Hangul. Now, I can't necessarily remember. There is a debate even about whether or not he was the one who came up with the language, like with Hangul especially, or whether or not he just had some part in it, or whether it was secret, like developed in secret and he delivered it. But either way, he came up with Hangul. And Hangul is basically these little shapes, things that you'll see a myriad of different kind of like combinations of these shapes, but a lot of people see circles, squares, all of that kind of stuff. That is Hangul, and that is the official written language of Korean. And so today, we're going to start off with vowels. Now, for my fellow English speakers out there, vowels, as I'm sure we all remember, are simple things just like A, E, I, O, U. Except unlike in English, Korean doesn't have 5 vowels, it has 21. It has a lot. It has a lot. Now, it's 21 as far as I've counted on these flashcards. Pretty sure I got all of them. We'll obviously have to see. But I've gone to the liberty of marking different vowels with like different colors to kind of like show their difficulties as well. So we'll go through these. You can't even see the colors, man. I mean, you kind of can. This is orange or red. This one is green. But we'll get there, okay? So basically, that's where we're going to start off today. I'm going to go through the English equivalent, teach you how to pronounce it as well. And also, as we go, I'll be sharing with you some vocabulary that you can take away as well, because you can actually, you can learn a considerable amount of Korean just with the vowels alone. With English, I mean, A, E, I, O, U, I don't know, we're pretty restricted in terms of like what words we can make up with those, right? But yeah, basically, that's where we go. Interesting content indeed, man. But look, first off, we've got this. Now, in English, the first vowel is A, right? But we don't say A when we enunciate it in a word. I mean, sometimes we do, but A is pronounced as ah. And this is ah. This is the sound for ah, right? Now, forget this little circle thing for the moment. What I want you guys to always focus on here are the sticks. So these lines, because that is the actual vowel itself. That is the thing that's making the sound, right? I'll explain in due time how like Korean is formed, because I mean, actually, you know what? I may as well just do it right now. There is, I wouldn't say a science to it, but it is a little bit difficult because there's certain placements that things have to have, like where different characters have to go and whatnot. So, if I draw this up really quickly, I'm winging it, by the way. I hope that you guys are having a great day regardless. Korean is an interesting language because everything can fit very neatly inside a little box. Now, what I mean by that is a little box like this, a square, right? You can see that there's 4 different sections. There's 4 different little boxes contained inside of it. In one of these little boxes, so to speak, you can only ever include as many as 4 characters, right? So for one example, there's this. This kind of looks like a puzzle, but this is an actual character, right? This is an actual sound. This is un, right? Un. You got the n, and then this is also a j on the far right, right? This little z looking thing, that's a j, all right? Now this word is anja. Anja means sit, to sit, right? So if someone says 앉으세요 or 앉아 or 앉아요 or something like that, it means please sit, you know, sit. Now, there's another thing I think that's worth sharing, and that is that in these boxes, you've got one with the quadrant, and then you've got one where you basically just split it in half, right? You can't ever just have a character on its own. So you can't have like a box and then just kind of have that. Or you can't have a box and have just like that or something, right? There's always like a combination of different characters that make sounds, right? So imagine for a second that there's a box around this character, like all the way around here. This is split in half because there's nothing under it, right? You never have characters go above this. So what's important, I guess, to kind of like say, without making this too complicated, is that you will always see just the sound without anything else attached to it, written like this, just like this. You'll see this little circle here, right, which is a placeholder, and then the sound right over here. There is a reason behind this placeholder, and I guarantee all of this will make sense, so just bear with me. There's a reason behind this placeholder. So the placeholder is the circle, or iung, which is the consonant in Korean. It is literally just the sound ng. And that is because when we get to consonants, you'll be able to see that we don't need the placeholder anymore, because this is the consonant S. This is the consonant L or R. This is the consonant P. So sa, da, pa, right? So then we got sa, da, pa, right? So when you see vowels written, you'll always see, like if it's just the sound as in 안녕하세요, you'll always see this little place marker here. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Is that making sense to begin with? I hope it is. If it's not, then I can always make like a kind of a follow-up video and a follow-up explanation. But today it's mainly just to get the actual vowels down so that you can memorize what these sounds are and what they look like. Of course, with everything, you're going to have to learn to associate within your own mind. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of like memorizing, oh, okay, that is the sound for that. That is the sound for that. But all of the other technicalities of how we write and all of that type of stuff will eventually come. So what sound does this make? Just a quick revision. I will do revisions as well too, y'all, as we move. Ah, exactly. One thing I also recommend, this is a trick that I taught myself when I was trying to learn Korean to start with all those years ago. It's been like 9 years now. Is the direction of the stick matters a lot for how you pronounce things. So this stick is facing outwards, right? You'll kind of understand what I mean by this at some point. But this stick is facing outwards. So the sound is ah, because you're projecting it. Straight out. And we're going in the direction of that stick. I don't know if that'll help anyone, but it helped me a hell of a lot, man. It helped me a hell of a lot. So that's ah. The next, in line with the English alphabet, is E. E. E is just a single stick. And E goes up. E. E. So E. E. Sticks and stones, right? So this is E. Again, you'll see this a lot, actually. And this is a little bit of an interesting one. Because if anyone is familiar with seeing Korean romanized in English, so romanized means written in English. Englished? I can't speak English. My fault. If anyone is familiar with seeing Korean written in English, you will also see this written one other way. And that is as Lee. Now, this is not pronounced Lee, right? If this was going to be pronounced Lee, it would, like in Korean, it would have like dir, Lee, like di, This is simply just E. But this is a family name, right? So let's say you have a friend and their name is Isubin. You will literally see this is their family name, E, right? This is a very common family name. Also, our first word that we can make with two vowels is I. I. Does anyone know what the word I means? Anyone in the chat? Potentially. Kid. Exactly. Right? Kid. E also as well, even on its own, E means this. This. So I could pick up my phone and I would say E pon. E pen. E mic. So it is also directional. This. Right? So E is very useful as well. You've got I, which is kid, and then E, which is this. Obviously, there's tons of different ways that these are used, but there's that. I think it's important to start off simple. All right? Now, if we move on to oo. Whoop. Let's just hold this over here. You know what? Let's move the whole pile over there. All right? So, oo. E, oo. So this is you. You had I, so A, I, you, oo. E, oo. Has anyone seen the drama? The drama? Wow, dude, I'm bad. I'm bad today. Fancy the irony of this, eh? I'm doing a language stream and I'm fucking up in my native language. Oh my god. Mamamoo, indeed. 우주소녀? Yep. Anyone familiar with the drama 우영우? 이상한 변호사 우영우. You know, Extraordinary Attorney Woo? This is often written as Woo in Korean. In English, sorry. 드라무. Man, I'm not going to live that down, eh? So Woo, like W-O-O. Woo. Exactly right, AJ? Woo. Right, so quick revision. Quick revision, chat. What's this one? What sound does this make? Not what letter is it, but what sound does it make? Because this is important, because there's not English equivalents for everything after this. Aha. Ah, indeed. How about this one? Ooh, yep. All right. Let me, actually, for the K-pop fans out there, maybe you might know this girl group. Does anyone know this girl group? Ua, exactly. I miss Ua. It's been a while, man. It's been a while, man. Let's go. Let's catch the stars. Pain. I wish, man. Anyway, so it seems like we've got the first three down pretty well. Now, Jen, you mentioned that there was one earlier that's that you sometimes get called out on. This is the perfect one. This is e. Not e, e. 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 Yep, like that. So EH, but it's like a... Pronouncing it is... there's one that's kind of similar to it. And I feel like it's kind of important to be able to distinguish how they sound and how you would pronounce them, and also how you recognize them, right? So you see how this has got two sticks? There are some that have two sticks soon as well too, all right? This has got two sticks. This one, think of this as like a wall, right? So is traveling out, but it's like it stops, period, right? It hits a wall. So in the word, say, 안녕하세요, it's not 안녕하세요, it's 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. Does that kind of make sense? What else could we think of? 주세요. 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 주세요 means please. Like, please give me, or please do something for me. 주세요. But it's not 주세요. 주세요. God, that reminds me of the Harry Potter meme. You know? It's not Leviosa. It's Leviosa. It's kind of like that. Right? It's not air. It's air. Hey. Benefits of doing this on the fly, man. Somehow my brain's able to think of that random shit. But hopefully this helps. Okay, so this is e. Okay, next one. This is the last one as far as the English equivalents are concerned. Okay? Might have seen this a lot. This is o. O. Notice as well how this circle is similar to the mouth shape. O. 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 You'll see this a lot, but there's one, the next one, there's a difference between the two of them. So, or. Think about an English equivalent. Okay. No, you know what? Oh. If you go, okay, or okay. That's a good one. Okay. When you say okay, you don't say okay. I mean, maybe you can, but the correct way to say okay is okay, or. It's a very hard or. Okay? Or. Are we good with that one? We understand that one? So quickly, let's review the first 5 vowels. What's this one? Very good. U. Like uyongu. Yep. How about this one? E. Yep. E. Also written as Li in English. But forget about this. Beep. Right. How about this one? Ah. Ah. Yep. Ah. And this one? Or. Yep. Or. This is also, just may as well mention it, this is also a very common, not necessarily as common as like Park or Kim or anything like that, but Or is also a very common family name in Korea as well. This is also a clan name. So Or. You'll see people with names like Oh Jimin, or Ohani, or Oh Nana, something like that. You know, you'll see this. Also, it's the number 5, indeed. Or. Or Hewon, exactly, vintage. How are you as well too, man? Or Hyung, plenty, right? So this is their surname, Or. And this one? How about this one? Eh. Yep. The period's a good one, Schmappy. Also with the little hyphen, that works as well too. It's a good way to remember it. There's one other word that I can teach you. Very basic one. And this is why I think you shouldn't pay too much attention to the romanizations. It's about the sounds, right? Can anyone tell me what this means? Or how you would say this? Even just how would you pronounce this? There you go, Schmappy. Cucumber. Oi. So, 제 샌드위치 안에 오이가 들어있었어요. There was cucumber in my sandwich. Oi, Aussie. Sure. Close enough. Right. So, I could have done this digitally, but you know, I feel like having stuff I can write on. Do we vibe the physical flashcards? I like the physical flashcards. So recently, we just went through Or, right? Or. We remember this one? Yep. There's a very similar one, which is this. Or E52. Indeed, there you go. oh. So notice you've got, even just pay attention to the shape of my mouth as well. Oh, oh, ah, ah. When you say like ah, 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 I understand now. Ah. See as well how the stick is facing inwards now? With ah, the stick faces outwards. Ah. With this, it's ah, ah, right? Ah, oh, ah, oh. There's an interesting one actually. There is one word that you'll hear a lot if you especially are in Korea physically, as in saw, yeah, ah, right? In Korea, they will say 어서 오세요, 어서 오세요, 어서 오세요. It's literally 어서 오세요, and 어서 오세요 means welcome, right? I think it's important. You know, these two are pronounced very similarly. There is a difference, obviously, when you really enunciate and articulate yourself very clearly. But then again, as I was saying even earlier before we started this video, not many people in daily Korean language are walking around going 안녕하세요, 저는 로키라고 합니다. Like, people don't do that, you know? So it's okay, like, if you do mess up the difference between and or, maybe you say like 어서오세요 or something like that, or you say 어서오세요, you know, it can sound a little bit weird, but people will at least be able to understand what you're saying. What this is mainly important for, more than anything, is to make sure that when you're writing, you're understanding the differences between these two, right? Or. Because whilst they sound very similar, in a word, it'll look off immediately in terms of written Korean, you know? Like you won't, or looks like E. Looks like E? I mean, no, interestingly enough, you can literally go like this. And then bam, like this. And then bam, you've got right? Or, that is called flashcard efficiency, everyone. Or, But yes, this one. Fuck, it's around the wrong way. This one does look similar to E, right? But instead of the stick facing outwards, it's facing inwards. So, or, right? Okay. Now we've got an interesting one. This is my least favorite vowel. I have favorites. This is my least favorite one because when I was first learning Korean, this did my head in. I just, man, yeah, you'll see. Anyway, this is If you look at the line, it's a flat horizontal line. And your face literally has to make, like your mouth has to make that that kind of line, you know? I don't like this one. This one is not nice. All right? This is hard. You know? So this is Now this is last of the you can't, damn, you really can't see the green. There's green. So these are the easier vowels. Okay? The easier ones. So let's review the easier ones. Hope you guys don't mind the reviews, but I think this is important, you know, because we can get these things down. What's this one? Eh. Yep. We good with that? And this one. Are there any questions so far as well? Just out of curiosity, anyone have any questions, or is anyone confused, or like what? I'm not following. I'm not sure what we're talking about. Anyone? More than happy to answer any questions at any time, whether that be now or even in the comments about this one. You good at it? Oh, thanks, man. I'm winging it, so we'll see how we go. How about this one? Yeah. Oh, it's like EO, but EO is if yeah, oh. I just say oh. It could be or, like saw, saw. I mean, you know what? Actually, I guess it depends on where you're from. If it was saw or in a, like for me, I'm Australian. It wouldn't be AW. You know what I mean? But if you're American and you say like saw or something, then or same thing, right? So whatever works for you as far as romanization is concerned. The one thing I would really, really, really encourage though, if romanizations are easier for you to like lock into your head, go with that. That works. The only thing I would say though is do not rely on romanizations for long. This is just, and I agree fully. I'm just saying to anyone who might be curious about romanizations, don't get stuck in the trap of being like, okay, cool, like I can just write Korean in romanizations and stuff like that. Because it's really important just to be able to associate your brain with whatever this sound actually is. You know, like what the sound is, not necessarily how it looks in English. Because really, learning a language, especially at the end of the day, is about you shifting your brain to then not always have to constantly translate it back to your native language. Because as you'll find in Korean, there are a lot of things that do not carry over between Korean and English. Like there's a lot of things that aren't directly translatable, if that makes sense. Exactly. It's like a bridge, and it's a crutch that is very helpful to use at the start. But once you feel yourself like being able to get stuff down, I'd say just quit romanization cold turkey. If I see romanized lyrics or something like that to a song, I'm like, what am I reading? Like, I cannot, bro. Like, what am I reading right now? Hello. It's tough, right? It gets hard. So there's this. And they don't even hear it. Exactly, right? So this is oh. How about, how long was I holding that up for? How about this one? You guys are doing well, I think, with just romanizing the sound. Yeah, like E. I think you're doing well with that. E. And this one? Ooh. 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 And this one? Ew. Ugh. Ugh. Best way you could write this one if you wanted to romanize it to help you is like this. Yeah, like that. If you just think about something that's gross, that. There you go. That's a pronunciation for that. And then this one, last one before we move on. Or. 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 Right. Okay. The next ones are colored yellow. And they're a little interesting because they're not actually that hard. They're not actually that hard, but there's a rule I think that is worth remembering. So you see, ah, right? How ah has one stick. Or also has one stick. You know, one stick right here. Jen's ahead. Jen's somehow in a different time zone ahead of me. Impossible. What do you think this one is? What do you think? You can see the yellow. What do you think this one is? The yellow one. Yeah. Exactly. So one stick is just ah. Just ah. If you add two sticks, a really good rule of thumb to go by is it's always a Y. So whatever this vowel is, it's exactly the same, but chuck a Y in front of it. Yeah. Yeah. Easy. Yeah. Yeah. Right? Now, yeah, for anyone wanting to know, yeah is a way to call someone. It's not a very polite way to call someone. If you're trying to get someone's attention, in Australia we'll say oi, or hey, or, you know, even in, in the States, yeah, hey, yo, something like that, right? Yeah is like, yeah, oi, getting someone's attention, not polite. Do not fucking use this. Don't use this to anyone who's like not a friend or not someone that's very close to you. Don't use it to your parents, all of that type of stuff. You know, you wouldn't use it that way in Korea. It's pretty casual. It's very, very, it's very, very casual. So you use it only with people that you're super comfortable with or that you're very close in age with as well. Right? Even then, it's a case-by-case thing. Because even if you're close in age, yeah is still pretty impolite just in general. But you hear it a lot, right? If I'm in trouble, because Herin, my partner, she's Korean. If I'm in trouble, I hear this. I hear this. Yeah. Yeah, no wonder. What are you doing? Okay, sorry. You know what? I deserve it too. This one. This is also a word. It's an exclamation similar to ya. This is aya. 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 Oh, aya. Tariapa. Aya. Aya means like ouch. Right? Ouch. Aya. Aya 아프다고. So, ya is a good one. Now, let's see if we can get these without having to go back to the basic vowels. What's this one? What sound goes down? A, E, O, U. Yep. U. U. Exactly. U. Yep. Yo, close, juice, close. But this is oo. So the stick facing down is oo, an oo sound, but two sticks facing down, u. I don't know why I did this. U. Oh man. Another word which you can make up with these vowels. There's just tons and tons and tons of words. Is this 우유, milk. 우유 주세요. 초코 우유 주세요. Please give me chocolate milk. Seriously, killing for some chocolate milk right now. I would love that. Okay. Now, Jules was almost there. How about this one? So you have or, your. Your. Now you will see, oh God, you'll see this one a lot. Even just the individual, so just this individual vowel in and of itself, on its own, you'll see this at the end of pretty much almost every single word. Every single sentence ending, mostly. When I say mostly, I just mean that you'll see it very commonly, very frequently, right? So your is the marker for polite conversation. So 안녕하세요, 주세요. What else? 먹어요, 마셔요, 읽어요. Tons. This is polite sentence ending, right? Casual would be more to just drop it. So if you're speaking casual with something, with someone, you wouldn't say 주세요, you'd say 줘. 그거 줘. 나에게 줘. Right? Or 먹어. 먹어요. 먹어요. 먹어요 is eat, to eat polite. 먹어 is to eat casual or informal. Does that kind of make sense? So yo. Right? But they say 보고? Nah, they would say 먹어. B and M, sometimes it sounds that way, but it's really, I think, got a lot to do with like individual pronunciation a lot. Some people speak like very like from their sinuses. Does that kind of make sense? Some people really speak from like their nose, and like they can be very nasally. But yeah, I've always personally heard it 먹어요. 아, 먹어. 밥 먹어. So yo, right? Okay. Next one. This is pretty easy. Pretty easy. Hopefully we can get this one. How about this? Ye. Close. Yaw. Yeah, yaw. 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 Right? Yaw. So yaw, actually, damn, I really don't have any spare paper, babe. Let me just... Let me just write this down here. Okay. Hyo's in a different time zone, man. She's allowed to be a little bit late, you know? On documents that ask... Let me just show what we're going to focus on. On like formal documents that'll usually ask you to disclose your gender. I need a whiteboard. Should we get it? We should get a whiteboard, right? If we do this. Down here. It'll have yo or nam. Yo, nam. What do you guys think these mean? What do you think yo means here? Maybe you might already know the word. Female, woman. Nam is man, male. Exactly, Shmappy. 여자. So this is the 여 in 여자. Or 여왕. Anyone familiar with Queen of Tears? That drama? 눈물의 여왕? 여. 여 is female, a woman. 여자. But you know, so one stick would be 어, two sticks, 여. All right, review time. The flashcards app that you didn't ask for. Give me a sec. We're going to review as much as we can. Actually, are there any Triple S fans here by any chance? Actually. Any waves? Yep. This is not going to be her full name, but see if you can recognize who this is. Just because it's not her full name because there's a missing consonant, but we haven't gotten to consonants yet. Who might this be? There'll be one consonant right here, right under this. Who might this be? How would you read this? Yuyan, exactly. There's normally an N here, which is like a little, it's like a little L. I'm going the wrong way, bro. It's like a little L that you would see here, and that is N, right? N. But yuya, yuyan, right? There's one other word. One other word. Here we go. Yeah, like I said, there was no yun there, but that's how you would read it, just because to help people associate if they could. Let's see if you guys can read this. How would you read this? How would we read this? Yo. Yo. Remember, this one is oo, ma. Oo. Oo. Yo. Fox. Exactly. Fox. All right, revision time. Tell me this one. Ew. Indeed. How about this one? Eh. Yep. Eh. How about this one? You. Yep. Kirby, how are you, man? You. How about this one? E. Yep. As in bean. Yep. E. This one? O. Yeah, this is O. 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 How about this one? This one is oo. Ooh. Also written as woo in English, but ooh. Yep, that's the sound that this one makes. How about this one? Ah. Remember, because the stick is facing inwards? Ah. 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 But very good. There's a lot that we're going through here, though, as well, man. So don't, just for anyone who's like, fuck, man, this is a lot. Yeah, there's a lot. 21 vowels is it's a ton, man. Yep, so this is ah. And then ya. Ah, ya. Ah, ya. Again, I don't know what I'm doing with my fingers, but somehow it works for me. Now, what about this one? Yeah, ya. Exactly. Close, WT. Ya. As the sticks are going in. It might help as well too. Like if you can imagine, I don't know if the stick method works for people, but it's what made sense for me. You can imagine little arrows pointing back towards it, right? Ya, ya, ya. Is it yaw or y'all? It's just ya. Ya. I mean, you can equate it to an English word if you want. There's not always the same kind of sound though, you know? So this is just ya, ya. One of the best ways, I think, to do with pronunciation is to just copy. Copy and copy and copy and copy as many times until it's comfy for you. Ya. What about this one? Foley was on with this one before. Ah. Yep. Ah. Beautiful. And then this one. You. Yep. And this one. Yo. Beautiful, guys. Good job. See, we are retaining things. I love that for us. Absolutely love that for us. Okay. Now, let me just bring one back really quickly. What was this one again? Eh. Right? Here's where things start to get a little bit confusing. At least from a learner's perspective, when I first started, I was like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? This one looks, these two look very similar, right? So this one is eh. This one is eh, eh, eh. It's a little more like rounded, eh. Yeah, kind of, you know, you put the little squiggly line, you know, eh, eh. Kind of, yeah. It's a little more, a little less sharp and a little more elongated, eh. So, eh, well, round the wrong way, my fault. So you got eh, 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 eh. Difference is there's no stick connecting to the placeholder, to the circle, right? There's a stick, a smaller little stick, and then a slightly longer stick. Eh. When it's Romanized, that's written as A-E. Eh. One word is eggy. Eggy. Eggy is child. Eggy. Right? Eggy. It's not eggy, it's eggy. So, eggy for child. Eggy. Not eggy. Eggy. Is that kind of making sense? Like the rounded nature of air? A little bit more? As opposed to air. Does that kind of make a bit of sense? Any questions on that? Or anyone confused? What word is air for? So this one? This one? Is that what you mean, Kirby? Okay. Okay, here's one. This is more a bit of grammar. I'm just ripping pages out of an art book at this point, so forgive me. Forgive my tardiness. We need a whiteboard. Also, if anyone happens to be watching this later, in this short period of time, whilst I'm just doing this, are you enjoying your time learning right now? Would you like to see more of these? Let me know. Chat, let me know as well. To be perfectly honest, the difference between those two is so hard that even Koreans struggle with. Exactly. That was literally taking the words out of my mouth. The next thing I was going to say is that don't worry. Oh my God, I ripped the paper. Poorly. Don't worry, because even Koreans struggle with this as well. No one perfectly pronounces things all the time. And this is one thing that I really want to stress a lot. Perfectionism with pronunciation, you will absolutely kill your hopes of being able to learn the language, I think, and be comfortable with it. That's at least my personal experience. When I first started studying Korean, I wanted to sound perfect all the time. All the time. Like I wanted to perfectly enunciate and pronounce everything, and it did my head in. I started to hate things. I really became super self-conscious. It led to me not talking as much, which impacts you because if you don't talk and you don't speak or you're too afraid to speak, then you never learn. You know, the only way to learn and to get better is not within a vacuum, but, you know, within a feedback loop where you can actually be corrected or to understand things, right? So don't stress those things. And also a lot of people, like no one's going to be like, oh my God, like in daily life, like if someone comes up to you and they say, oh my God, like, you know, you've got like such, you speak so weird. Some people might be really hurt by that, even if they say it to you in your native language, you know? If someone's like, oh, you speak weird, most people will be like, okay. You know, you think that's a weird interaction. Like, okay, cool. Something's maybe going on in that person's life, I guess. But no one's going to pull you up and be like, oh my God, your Korean sucks so bad. Can't believe you don't know the difference between air and air. Can't believe that. No one's going to say that. Of course, it's not an irrational fear. It comes from somewhere. But yeah, don't stress too much for anyone who might be like, oh my God. I'm just hoping at least that I am able to help in the understanding of the difference between these two, so that, say, if you're ever listening to what people are saying, or you're trying to at least just differentiate how the two are written and how they both sound, that you'll be able to with a little bit more ease. That's it. Right? Practicing between dog and crab will help for those two. Very true. It's fun, like I can understand it when spoken, but not hungry. Right? Interested more, bet. Right in the air to verify which they are pronouncing. Yeah, dude, when you learn languages, you do all sorts of weird things. You know? Just do it, eh? You know? Got lucky to catch it. Awesome, I'm glad. You need a whiteboard like the EV blog guy. I've never seen that, but a whiteboard would be cool. Okay. So Kirby asked earlier, when would you use e, right? I'm just going to try and keep it to vowels. So this is going to be this is more grammar, right? You'll hear this a lot. Let me just write something down. So you'll see e a lot here, right? So this says 학교에 가요. 학교에 가요. 학교에 가요. That is e. Exactly. That is this one. Yep. You can see where it matches up, right? 학교에 가요. E here means to. It's indicating a direction. To. So you've got like this. Hopefully this makes sense. So you got the place, to, so where you're going, and then the verb. So school to go. Go to school. 학교에 가요. Right? So 에 is often used to denote direction, like where someone is going. Exactly. The subject isn't implied this or that. We can get into that when we do more grammar and stuff like that later. But 에 is you'll frequently see it used just on its own as a marker for the direction. So you could say 서울에 가요. 서울에 가요. Or you could say 호주, Australia. 호주에 가요. Or you could say 미국에 가요. And the 에 is this 에. Not this one. I wouldn't say 서울에 가요. I wouldn't say 호주에 가요. It'd be 서울에 가요. 미국에 가요. 집에 가요. 집 is like 집 is home, right? So 집에 가요. 집에 가요. 한국에 가요. Yep, going to Korea. Hopefully that makes sense. Does that make sense? We good on that? Also, the good thing about this is that you can watch it through as many times as you need. So you can rewind this video as many times as you need in order to hopefully kind of like understand the difference in pronunciation. So again, e, 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 e. 가요 or 가요, same thing. It's pretty much the same thing. We can get to that with consonants though. We'll get to that with consonants though. We will answer those questions when we do the video on that. Okay, here is a lovely little companion to what we just learned. So it looks very similar. How do we think this one sounds? Close Wi-Fi. So this is 에. This is 예. 예. 얘가. 예 is like she or they or he. 얘가 말했어. He said. Or 얘가 갔어. He went. Something like that. 예. 예. So you got 에, 예. Right? So literally just this one, but stick a Y in front of it. 예. Because again, two little sticks right there. So I'm sorry, my pointing's not that accurate. This is so unintuitive, man. All right. Another little familiar one. But hopefully, are we understanding like the one stick versus the two stick method now as well? Yeah, we're getting that? Cool. All right, so again, what was this one? Eh, right? Mm-hmm. How about this one? What's the difference between the two of them? Good, Fooly, yeah. 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 Not. Not yeah, but yeah. Not yeah, not yeah, but yeah. Yeah. Does anyone know the word yeppo or yepuda? I mean, 17. 17 have a song called yepuda. Yepuda. Or someone says yeppoyo. Yeppo or yepuda means to be pretty, right? That ye is this ye. That's how this is spelled at the start. Ye, Buddha. Not ye, not ye Buddha, ye Buddha. Cool? Cool. I think with these especially, when we get to consonants, these will start making a little bit more sense, you know? You'll be able to hear, I think, with the addition of a consonant in front of the vowel, like gie or bie, stuff like that. You'll be able to hear kind of a little bit of a difference, just in case you aren't hearing them now. Okay. Oh dear. Here comes the red. Exactly. Well, Y is not a consonant. Y is not a consonant in English, or Y is a consonant in English, sorry. But in Korean, Y is not a consonant. Y is a vowel, right? So O, Yo, A, Ya, those are all vowels. So anything that makes the Y sound in Korean, that's just a vowel. It's not a consonant. Why not? It's just how it is. Let's ask King Sejong, bro. Why? It just is. Because also, like, it doesn't directly correlate to English. Because also, I mean, in Korean, they don't have like a consonant for Z, like Z, for example. You know? They don't have a consonant for... what else? W. W is also a vowel. So there is no letter Y. F as well, yeah? There's a couple. Yeah. The best way to think about this is that these aren't... For all intents and purposes, these aren't letters, if that makes sense. These are just characters that make up... They just have sounds. They're just sounds. These are just signifiers of the sound that is made. You know what I mean? Like, Korean doesn't have an alphabet that's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Like, it's not like that. That's an English thing, and other languages like, you know, French, German, Spanish, etc., etc. It's like in Mandarin, in Chinese, there's no alphabet either. Really. It's just, you learn the characters and that's it. Same with Japanese, actually. So these are just sounds, right? But for the sake of at least English speakers, you can categorize them into vowels, because vowels are the building blocks of words. You know, you need vowels for a word to be a word. Like you can't have like for example, no, I won't do that. I mean, actually, sure. You can have shorthand. So this is shorthand. This is a swear word, actually, in Korean. Maybe you know this shorthand, maybe you don't. But this is not like an actual word. You can't read this. Like, it doesn't have any sort of, it's just like it's nothing, you know? It needs vowels to give it shape, to give it form. Oh, is that one? Somehow I know the curse word. Yeah, of course. Anyone who's curious, this is 개새끼. 개새끼. I didn't teach you that though. I didn't teach you that though. Okay. This is where things get a little bit tricky, because there are some exceptions to. I think there's actually only one exception. Yeah. There's one exception to our stick rule. You know? There's one exception to our stick rule. And also, Ma, good observation. Very good. There is the beginning K and the K at the end are different, because we don't have these in English as well. These are single consonants. This is what is called a double consonant, where it makes the sound just a little bit extra. You know, so you can have K, this is K, G, G. Like it's harder. It's more, there's more impact behind it. So like you can have these, for example, right? Actually, what is this vowel, by the way? What is just one stick up? See if we can get that. If we can build on what we've learned. E, right? This is the consonant that makes the sound sh, like s. So in this situation, she, 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 right? She. This is she, 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 she. Kind of makes sense? Double consonants are hard, though, so we'll get to that. Right? She is an honorific that you put at the end of someone's name. So I say Roki-shi. Roki-shi, Wi-Fi-shi, Fully-shi, Schmapple-shi, Jedi-shi. 감사합니다. Thank you so much for the 6 months sub, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. Add a bul and then another swear. Kirby-shi, exactly, right? Exactly. Okay, there's one exception, but we'll get to that at the very end. And the exception flew onto the floor. No worries. All right, let's start working with the red vowels, the ones that are a little bit more different. Tell me if you know what this one means, or what sound this one makes. Jenshi, exactly. Wa. Good. Did you guys already know that? Was there an educated guess there? Ma, keep that in mind, Ma. What you just said, that's my next point. It's a very, very useful way of thinking about this. This is how you can get these down, right? So this is wa. Wa. Let me go through my endless flashcard collection here. All right. Excellent. Here's a neat little trick. W sound appeared out of nowhere, indeed. But you'll see why. Okay. So what do these vowels make the sound of? Like, just write them next to each other. Not oo ah, it's o ah. O ah. O ah. Now say it a little bit faster. O ah. O ah. O ah. O ah. Wa. Wa. See? These are literally just a combination. All we've done is we've got O here and we've chucked ah to the end of it. So you literally put them together like Lego blocks. O, ah becomes wa. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So o, ah, oa, 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 wa, wa, wa. I think one thing that might be helpful is, again, to stop thinking about the W. W is an English, that's an English letter, right? It's just simply the sound that this makes is wa. English letters and Korean letters Korean sounds don't correlate. We can use English letters to try and sound out what the Korean sounds are like, but ultimately, at the end of the day, this wa is just a combination of o and ah. So o ah, 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 wa, 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 if that makes sense. Right? I just figured that's an easier way, because hopefully moving forward you guys might be able to guess what some of the others are, what some of the other harder vowels are. Okay? I will come back to this though, because I want to try and see if I can stamp it out with the explanation about the letters and stuff. So hold tight, Ma. Okay? How about this one? So think about the vowels that we've done so far. I fucking hate this one. I fucking hate this one. Yeah, this one is not very beginner friendly, bro. That's all I have to say. I struggled with this one a lot when I first started. Again, like, there's kind of no English equivalent as far as a letter that has this. 의자, chair. Or 의사, doctor. 의자, chair. 의사, doctor. Yeah, we cool on 의? Cool. All right. This one. Let's try this one. Hopefully the logic is kind of starting to stack up a bit. We. Yeah. U. Again. Great one. Ma. U. E. We. Say it faster. We. Yeah, kind of like French. We. Right? We. So this is we. We also actually means up. We is the word for up. Has anyone heard the song by EXID, up and down. We are there. We are there. So up, down, down. We are there. We are there. Are means down. Now, not are, but are. Are. Right? Okay, next one's a little harder. How about this one? Just pay attention to the sticks. Things change a little bit, but just pay attention to the sticks and what you're familiar with as far as the shapes are concerned. Close, Ma. Very close, man. Wa. Wa. So, u, ah, wa, wa. Word that has this. Cavities, wonjin. Wonjin. Or wonyong. Ives, chang, wonyong. I mixed up my sticks. Hey, common thing, man. But you're really close with it too. That's the best part. That's the good part. So chang, wonyong. Wa. Right? Cool. How about... We're almost done, by the way, guys. Almost done. How about this one? These last three are the hardest. Close, Jedi. Yeah, ue. Right? So, ue, say it fast. Ue, 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 ue. 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 But, Jedi, you were really close. This is not the same where as in why. Not the same one. Right? So remember, and e. This is just where. So, common English name is Wayne. Right? Wayne. Or, that's all I got. That's all I got off the top of my head. Oh yeah, wet. Wet as well, sure. Wet. Right? The one Jedi I was thinking of is this one. Where? 갑자기 왜? 왜요? Yeah, exactly. But close enough, man. So where? Where is why? Why? 왜요? 왜 이러세요? 왜 그러세요? Why? Right? And this fell down. This one is my least favorite. I mean, it's really early. It's really easy once you just learn it. But this is one of the ones that escapes the rule of the sticks. Okay, so this is where the sticks rule falls on its ass. Hang on. I have the last vowel. Oops. Does anyone want to have a guess at what this one could be? A? We're all close. Okay. This is also where. Right? So the sticks rule, it breaks down completely. This is spelt like that. Where. Again, don't ask me why. I don't know. But where quite literally like oe, we, oe, we. We means foreign or outside. Has anyone ever heard of the word 외국인? 외국인. Foreigner. Exactly. 외국 사람 or 외국. 외국 is like foreign land, foreign country. Exactly. Right? So this one is oe. If you want to like sound it out, you can go oe, oe, we, right? So this is we. This is we, 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 we. See how it's a little bit more elongated, like dragged out? You got we, we. And then this is we, 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 we. These three, I'd love to know whether you guys agree or not. But would we agree that these three are pretty much like some of the hardest to be able to distinguish between? It has the E sound in terms of the stick indeed, but it is, it is just what it is. And I hate being able to say that too because, when we learn languages, one thing being a native speaker of English is if someone asks us, why do you say things like that? A lot of people would just say, well, it's just the way it is, right? That's because English speakers or native speakers have what is called tacit knowledge. That means that we don't really know why those things are like that. We don't know the specific grammatical function. Personally, I also don't know why this is not oi or oi, or something like that. I don't know necessarily why this is where in terms of the mechanics of how this is what makes that sound, but this just makes that sound. You get what I mean? Exactly, right? And here is what you'll see a little bit of. Jedi just used a perfect example. This is a very, very common surname in Korea, and it's Che. Che. Not Choi, but Che. Che Hyejin, Che Hyejin, Che Subin. Not Che Subin, Che, Che, Che Subin. Cheyena. Yep. Does that kind of make a bit of sense? So these are hard. That's why I put them in red or orange or whatever this color is. All right? So let's mix these up. Let's do one last review. Not cho. Cho is this. Notice because it's just got the o. Che is this. So cho is the top, the middle is che, and the bottom is che. There's a reason I want to stipulate why romanization is very, very unreliable past a certain point. Is there are actually different schools of romanization, so to speak. So in English, exactly, there you go. Indeed, fully. In English, there are like linguists that can't properly decide between themselves which romanization to use. So oftentimes, if you rely solely on romanization, meaning English letter equivalents, it's going to mess you up, because dependent on which romanization is being used, you could have a very different kind of sound going on. So what I mean by that is, I think it's mainly two romanization systems. I don't know the names of them, but all I know is this is why I don't use it, right? And why I think you shouldn't use it for too long. Again, like Pizza said earlier, use it as a bridge if you need, but the moment you don't need it anymore, drop it. Like, forget about romanization completely. Because, for example, Che, right? Che, this surname that we just learned, it sounds like this. Che. Che. Right? It sounds like this. Che. But you will see it romanized two different ways. You see it romanized as che or che. This is cho or this is choi. If you rely on English, you'll not get it. You know what I mean? Like, you'll eventually stumble and you'll be like, oh, what is this again? Either way, none of these romanizations are actually this sound. This is the sound that you need to focus on. Che. 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 Not che or choi, just che. How do you write choi? Hang on, I wrote it on the wrong side. Choi. Right? That's how you would write choi. But the sound of this is che. Kind of see what I mean? Like, do we all kind of understand now? And I just don't want this to sound like I'm being condescending. I just want to make sure that we're kind of covering these bases. Do we all kind of understand why now romanization is kind of a little bit prickly to hold on to for too long? I mean, even the people that romanize can't decide between themselves whether or not they're going to have it this way or that way or whatever. Yeah, and you know what? When you see there's one other thing, right? Like, if I use a real life example of my own. My partner, her name is Kerin. Kerin, right? Her name is written like this. Right? Here, you can't really see there too much. It's like he, din. He, din. Right? In English, one way you can romanize it is Kerin. This is correct in terms of how it actually sounds. Kerin. Kerin. Right? But her name was romanized by her parents and appears in her passport as Hedin. Hedin and Hedin are not spelt the same. Her name is Hedin. Hedin. But it is written as Hedin. Hedin. Her name is not Hedin, but it's written like this, but actually said like this. Does that kind of make sense? So it's an odd thing, you know. It's a weird thing that happens. Ultimately, romanization shouldn't be relied upon because Koreans will decide to romanize their names differently. Sometimes they might choose CHOE, they might choose CHWE or CHOI if they're going for che. The most important thing for you as a Korean learner is to just be familiar with the actual sound, like the actual vowel itself, which is, you know, this. If you're familiar with this, you'll always be good. You won't have to worry about romanization or anything because you'll be able to read their name in Korean. You go, ah, che, nice. You know? Jong or Jong, same thing, right? Same thing. Alrighty, shall we do a review? I'm trying to shuffle paper, this is not working. Shall we do a review of this? I feel like you need to do a test now, so let's do it. Alrighty, go ahead, y'all. What's this one? Yeah, perfect. Yeah. And why is this ya? Why is this ya and not a? Double line instead of the single one. Yep, perfect. And also, what does this mean? Just for anyone who might recall, what does this mean? What does the word ya mean? If used in contents, ya, ilua. Exactly. Hey, oi. Hey, you. Exactly. Right? All right, how about this one? Wo. Yep. Wo. As in Chang Wo Nyong. Chang Won Yong, right? You would see a little N here for Won Yong, but Chang Won Yong. Wo Won Jin. That kind of thing. How about this one? Oui. Right? Oui. As in kind of like French oui. Although not it doesn't mean that. What does the word oui mean? We are there. We are there. Up. Perfect. Beautiful. How about this? Ah. Yup. And why is it ah and not ya? Single line going out. Ah. Perfect. How about this? Where? Where? 왜요? 아, 왜 그래? What does this mean? What does where mean? Why? Yep. 왜 그래요? Why you like that? Alrighty. Got this one. Medium difficulty. Let's say that's this one. Close. Yeah. There you go, Schmappy. Yeah. Yeah. Because of two sticks. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Similarly, how about this one? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Remember? Hits a wall. Yeah. Yeah. So again, this one is yeah, 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 yeah. Right? As in 예뻐, 예쁘다. Also, this one. Yeah. Right? What you'll see or hear a lot is you hear yeah, yeah. That the elongation of it is the little squiggly mark, you know? Yeah. That's what people say like when they're on the phone. People don't always go, oh, ne, 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 ne. They don't say that. Ah, yeah, 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 알겠습니다. Yeah, yeah. Yeah is a very polite way of saying yes. Well, not very polite, but it's just another polite way of saying yes. Ne, of course, is normal. Ne means yes. 아니요 means no. But yeah is like understood. I got it. Yeah. Yes, okay. Cool. How about this one? One of my least favorite. Ugh. Right? I see this come up, I go, ugh. Ugh. Recoil in disgust. Ugh. Mm-hmm. Ugh. Beautiful. And this one? Ya. Yep. Ya. Not your. Ya. Ya as in 여자. Ya as in 여자 idol, which is G idol or idol just now. For those of you guys that are familiar with the K-pop group 여자 idol, or 여자 친구, 여자 친구, G friend, right? Or just indeed 여자 친구 meaning girlfriend. There you go. How about this one? Oh. Remember, stick is going in. Oh. Oh. Same as ya, but ah. Ya. Ah. Ya. Ah. Make it sense? Uy. Yep. Isa. Exactly. Isa. Ida. This is also read a different way, but I think we can cover that when and if we come to it. This is read a slightly different way, but it's not like at the moment you really just need to know how this sounds. All right? Uy. Uy. Excellent. How about this one? E. Yep. E. E. Stick up. E. Beautiful. And this one? Very good. Ooh. 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 How about this one? Wa. Yep. Wa. Wa. Wa wa pero. Yeah. So wa. This actually, I mean, this works perfectly actually. Wayo. Wayo. Wayo means to come. Come. Like, come here. Come. Right? Wa. So people can say, iri wa. Iri wa. Come here. You might hear in K-dramas a lot. Oh, 왔어? 왔어? Oh, you came? Or you could say, 6시에 학교에 왔어요. So, at 6 p.m., I came to school. 와. Come. How about this one? We just use this one. Yo. Perfect. And what is this used as? Is this polite? Is this an indicator of polite speech or impolite speech at the end of certain sentences? Polite, exactly. Polite, honorific, formal, exactly the same thing, right? So if I said, 이리 와요, or 일로 와요, that's polite. I'm saying, come here. Come here. If I'm saying, 이리 와, you can already kind of tell like the demeanor with which someone says it, right? 이리 와. 와. Also 와. Like hurry up. You know, so there's this is informal in and of itself, but you add yo to it, and then suddenly it's a lot nicer. You know? Move it. Exactly. Or. If you remember, or. And this is a family name as well. Or. Or Hewan. Or Hewan. Or. Okie doke. Bullshit of bullshit. How about this one? Oh. It's okay if we Romanize it wrong, but we remember what this one is, yeah? Where? Exactly. Where? And what does this where mean? How is it different from where? How is it different from where? Where? What does this one mean? Good job remembering, man. Foreign. Yep. Outside. Foreign. Yep. Foreign. So 외국인. 외국인. Or 외국 사람. Foreign person. Foreigner. 외국 남자, foreign man. You know? Foreign. Outside. How about this one? Sorry, guys, this has just been bullshit after bullshit as far as these examples are concerned. I don't know why these didn't get shuffled correctly. This is also where. Yep, but where. Where, and where. Where, and where. Beautiful. How about this one? I mean, if you know, once you learn the word, you'll know the difference, ma. But a lot of people, yeah, like people will mix, match, and understand. It's mainly just context. Context. It is, yeah. Like if someone says 외국인, you know exactly how that's spelled. You know that it's the weird we, not 외국인. You know. You, very good. You. I've actually got probably a good test for you guys. Maybe some of you might know. Let's try this. Maybe some of you might know this singer. Let me know if you know who this is. What does this say? Perfect. Perfect, guys. Ayu. Ayu. That's how her name is actually spelt in Korean. Ayu. That's how her artist name is written in Korean. Ayu. Right? Cool. This also is a word. EU. EU. This means reason. Reason as in not like reasoning, but like the reason for something happening. What's your reason? 이유가 뭔데? 늦은 이유가 뭔데? Why are you late? What's the reason you are late? I mean, people would probably just say 왜 늦었어? Instead of 늦은 이유가 뭔데, but still, you know, if we can use that. All right, last two. What's this one? Eh. Yep. So dude, I've written on so many random pieces of paper. God, where is it? There we go. Remember, is 학교에 가요. 학교에 가요. So is commonly used to denote direction. It means to. 학교에 가요. Cool. And last but certainly not least, how about this one? Like A-E, as in eggy. But yeah, exactly. Actually, Actually, tell me if you know this one. I'll show you what the, like I'll write down what this consonant is. And I want you guys to tell me in the chat how you would spell it. So that consonant right there that looks like an L is an N. That's the sound for N. N. So what does this spell? Don't forget the E. So yuena. Yuena. For those of you guys that got yuena, does anyone know what yuena is? Seeing how we just mentioned Ayu? Ayu's fandom name. There you go. Yuena. Yep. And that's it. That's vowels. Congrats. You just learned all the Korean vowels. So, benefits of all of this was that now all we need to do is learn a few consonants. A few. We've got to do was learn a few consonants, and then you have all the building blocks to be able to write and read Korean. A few. Yeah. Just a few. The consonants, I feel, are pretty easy though, because they're a lot easier to distinguish from each other than the vowels. I think the vowels are difficult in and of themselves. You know, the sticks and the lines and all of that, it's like, oh, what? But, you know, consonants, they have very, very different shapes. Like, say, for example, let me write down. Just as an example. Like, as you can see, they're obviously far more diverse. Just as a few examples. Very, like, much more diverse. I think they'll be a little bit easier. They follow a little less logic, but I think the consonants are easier to just, like, memorize and be like, oh, okay, that's that. Got it. Cool. Whereas vowels, you're like, oh, does that have two sticks or one stick? How do I read that? Blah. It can be tough. Thank you, man. Absolutely. Thank you. I have an easier time with the vowels just from there being fewer of them, and I see them in pretty much every name. Exactly. You'll see vowels everywhere. Like, no word is complete without them. So they're crucial. Let me just kind of explain the reading order as well too of how we got to where we are with things like this. Like, why do we read you like this instead of like that? Like, why is it not like that? You will never, on a vowel, you will never, ever, 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 ever see the vowel on top or to the left. That's the right, sorry. My left, my right, your left. You will never, ever, ever see a vowel there, right? It will always be below the circle or to the right, right? It'll be below the circle or to the right. So, again, the vowels are like this. Like, you guys can see these, right? So, a, I, U, U, O. These are the actual things that make the sound. But you absolutely have to have these placeholders in front of them when you write them, right? Otherwise, they don't make sense. Even a Korean keyboard will not let you write out like, like this word. This word is 안녕하세요. But a Korean keyboard will not let you write that out. Do you kind of get what I mean? It will always make you add the circles. The circles are part of the language. All right? They're placeholders here. They are also a consonant in and of themselves. But when you see them to the left or above a vowel sound, that is a vowel. All right? That's how you know that this is an, your. You know what I mean? Because you could have you can have consonants there instead. So you can have like you can have 반영 하세요. Like, so you can have consonants there where the vowels would be, but that's not a real word. That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? So these placeholders, they always appear to the left or above vowels, right? If you ever see one of these, below a vowel, then it's a consonant. Like, then that circle becomes a consonant. Does that make sense? So, to elaborate, I'm just not trying to overwhelm people, but I'm trying to just also kind of make sure that this is clear, because we're still talking about vowels. You know? So, if I have... okay. Okay. Exactly, right? If I have this word is ani. Ani means no. It's a casual form of saying no, right? Ani. Ani na anya. Right? Ani. You can see how this little circle is to the left of the vowel. That's how you know that this is a vowel. That makes the sound a as a whole. A, ni. Right? But notice how here, this circle is not on the left and it's not on the top. Instead, a consonant is on the top. So what does that make this then? Is this a vowel or is this a consonant? This circle here. Do we think it's a vowel or a consonant? What do we think? It is hangman. It's a consonant. Because this, if it's a vowel, it will only ever be to the left or on the top. If we remember that little box that we drew earlier, right? Kind of mix this up. So we've got an, right? We know that's a vowel because it's in the top and it's in the left. We know this is u because it's in the top. But if this is below here, this is chung. This is a consonant. Chung. So you got the oo here, right? We can see oo. Let me just elongate it a little bit. Ch, oo, chung, chung. Whereas this is not ngan or ngu, it's an, u, chung. So all that's important to remember is that when you see that little circle to the left or above in any Korean, if you see it to the left or above, it's a vowel. It's indicating that that sound is a vowel. If you ever see it below or to the right, if you see it like at the bottom of a character or to the right of a character, like the bottom right of a character, it's a consonant. It's hard. Like, trust me, it's hard. It's just something that you'll get used to as you observe more Korean, as you look at Korean words. You know what I mean? When we get to them, we'll be able to understand how to be able to see that. You know what I mean? Cool. All right, that concludes Hangul, at least for the vowels. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully this made sense. If it didn't, let me know. If it didn't, let me know. Learning language is hard. It is never an easy thing because ultimately what you're learning to do is you are learning to communicate with completely different logic than you're used to, you know? Not everything is always transferable. Concepts aren't transferable. A lot of things don't make sense along, you know, like from the boundaries of languages. So really learning a language is about essentially having to rewire your brain, you know, so logic's not always going to work. Followed instructions incorrectly, now I somehow know Spanish. You know, but you'll get there, you know, you'll get there. All you got to do is you just got to sit down, repeat the things to yourself. You'll have your own little ways of being able to learn certain things, but the biggest tips that I can give is don't rely on romanizations too much. If they help you in the meantime whilst you get a sound down, that's great. But it's really important to remember that these are just sounds and that they're not letters, so to speak, as we see them in English. The reading and writing order we can get to and all of that type of stuff. But in order to even read or write, we first need to know not only just the vowels, but the consonants. So all we need to focus on for today are just getting down the sounds and being able to recognize what symbols and what shapes make what sounds. Cool. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Love and appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. And I hope this helped a little bit. Cheers.